You'd be hard-pressed to find a man more out in front and also behind the scenes at Louisiana Tech. His name is Wally Crittenden, and he is the money man and the soccer man. Fascinating conversation with the Senior Associate Athletic Director of Championship Resources. It's coming up next. Strap in. This is the Tech Drive. Hello again and welcome to Tech Drive. I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Schasberger, and if you're watching on YouTube or even Spotify, you see my guest to my right, the dapper-looking gentleman that he is, Wally Crittenden. Wally, I appreciate you joining, man. Maybe this will get you to follow me on Twitter now that you're in the AD suite with me.
We ain't connected yet.
No, you are not following me, my guy.
That will be done by the end of the day today.
That's a problem. We have to correct that. This wasn't hard
doubt.
for you to find, though. What do you think of Ryan's suite? You've been in here a few times.
Oh, it's great. I think when they really reimagined what they could do out here at the Joe, they did everything first class. From the deck to the suites on the west side, everything has been done first class. And then our North End Zone project is going to be first class. So, when I came here and really looked at the opportunity, not only working with great people, but seeing the commitment to doing things in a first-class rate, this absolutely impressed me from the second I saw it.
You are the Senior Associate AD of Championship Resources and also CRO, reporting directly to Ryan?
Sure thing.
Okay. I'm not an acronym guy, kind of short circuit, so CRO, that's Chief Revenue Officer?
That's it. Basically aggregating, identifying, and really trying to create innovative revenue inputs. Understanding who we are is the first step. We've got to know where our revenues are coming from. We've got to aggregate those into a digestible format so that our team can see where we have opportunities to improve. And then from there, you get to start thinking about non-traditional revenue. But before you can start dreaming and thinking about that, you got to make sure you understand who you are and what your foundation is.
So for lack of a better phrase or term, you're the money man.
Oh,
you're the money man.
Try to be. Try to be.
Sounds important. It's way above my pay grade, the CRO. Again, Senior Associate AD of Championship Resources. It was May of last year when you were hired, and when I was looking at the release, I had seen that your charge, quote, solicit major gifts, assist with other revenue streams for the athletic department, and it's 16 athletic programs. And you've kind of laid that out there. How would you describe a particular day in the life of Wally Crittenden at Louisiana Tech?
Well, I think really it's exciting, first and foremost. And our goal in our Championship Resources unit is to make it as easy as possible to be a fan, make it as easy as possible to donate, and to really help drive innovation for our department as well. And that touches a lot of different constituents. And there's a lot of crossover there with some great things that we're doing across campus as well. And so I would say the first thing is that day to day, it's making sure that our fans and our donors have the access they need, the technology solution they need to make it as easy as possible for them to engage in whatever way makes sense for them in that moment. And then from there, it's making sure that the rest of the team has an understanding of what we're trying to do on the revenue side of the house and how it folds into our external communication, how it folds into our game day operations, and then frankly, how it folds into compliance and other operational sides of the house. And Championship Resources and revenue is such an important part of today's landscape, but it's really important that it plays well with the other areas in the department.
How does the announcement, recent news, just a week ago or so, a little bit more, of Radiance Technologies and this new microchip plant, 40,000 square feet, $370 million, I think, coming here to Ruston. What does that do to kind of help with the vibe, the aura, the energy around what it is that you're doing day in and day out?
That is a transformational announcement, not just for Louisiana Tech, but for all of North Louisiana. It even stretches well beyond even our Ruston area. And it's going to be transformational on several levels. Certainly, Radiance is a tremendous partner. We work with them at different levels of engagement. But it's also going to be transformational in the learning lab opportunities for our students. It's going to be a watershed moment for what we can do on the innovation side of the house, and really a statement moment to the rest of industry all across the country of what we have capabilities of supporting and engaging here on campus and in our community, which will segue and tie into the Louisiana Tech Sports Performance Institute, which has the public stated goal of becoming the sports tech and research hub of Louisiana. And so when you start looking at sports tech and really health tech and how that ties into such an important population group, which is our athletes, having an entity like what we call LITSB for short, having an entity like the LITSB that is going to aggregate our assets, which are athletes, coaches, and facilities, not to become the research and academic certifying entity, but to really be the aggregator that allows for the Department of Kines to have quick, agile access to a population group and facilities that help make their competitive grants and their endeavors more competitive across the country. And then you look at what we can do from an engineering and a material science standpoint. You know, our turf and other equipment that we've really been pushing and collaborating with our students on creating new solutions to existing problems. There's so much opportunity in sports tech and health tech, but we're the aggregator. And so it just helps to share across the country that we're thinking in different ways about what role athletics can play on campus, which is what we're so excited about.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, we could spend probably an hour just on that topic alone, and Louisiana Tech and the place that they have and kind of being the leaders in innovation when it comes to aggregating all of these things. You brought up the students, and we're coming off our first football game, a 24-0 shutout win over Southeastern. Go Dogs. Okay.
Go Dogs.
Head to that school down south this weekend. By the way, Tech Tailgate. You can listen to that at 5 o'clock along the network, 6:30. Teddy Allen, myself, Jerry Bird, Eldon Taylor will all have that for you. Louisiana Tech and LSU. But off this opener against Southeastern, I saw there was a Youth Leadership Institute tailgate. Can you explain what that was and what kind of success did we have there after the first football game?
Sure. That's something that we started last year. And last year we had anywhere between 8 to 10 young people that would come in. And again, it's reimagining what is our facility inventory, how are we using it on different game days, and how can we make it more accessible to the community? But then also, are there academic collaboration opportunities in grant writing and non-traditional revenue from an athletics side of the house to collaborate with our academic counterparts? And so we're going into year two. We kicked off year two on Saturday, had 32 pre-registrations regarding the Youth Leadership Institute. The topic was goal setting and first impressions. They showed up and arrived between 3 and 3:30. We took them over to Argent. They got to eat in Argent. They got to participate in the Bulldog Walk of Pride. And then from there, Coach Ed Jackson, who's doing a tremendous job leading the Institute, we brought them back into the TAC, which is typically a facility that is offline for the most part on football game day. Tremendous facility in proximity. Now we're able to have our Institute sessions there, and we had guest speakers come in and talk to them. And then all of those young people got tickets to the game. And so this will be a 9-month program. And so as we get into basketball season, we'll begin to use our football inventory, facility inventory that is typically offline on basketball game days. And then it will culminate at the end of the year in a dining etiquette seminar, which was really well attended last year, transformational for those young people, because a lot of times these young people don't even know what exists on campus and how Louisiana Tech can change their lives just by getting them on campus 8-9 times a year, by having them in a formal setting where they're learning dining etiquette and social etiquette. These are things that they don't even know exist. And so it's a program that we're passionate about. Coach Ed is leading the way on that and is doing a tremendous job. And it's something we're excited about over the course of the year.
No, that's amazing education for all of us who maybe have had those certain opportunities and taken for granted, but there's plenty of folks in the future of this country, of this world, who might not be privy to such things. So for us to help provide, a vehicle for them to learn through all of these programs that you have a hand in. I mean, you are doing so many different things, and we appreciate that. Your hand is in so much. And I have a feeling we're not done talking about the money yet, because one of the other things, though, we'll come back to the finances that you're doing. is you're calling soccer games, okay? And you have a love and a deep-seated background in soccer, but you are helping Kyle Roberts on the ESPN Plus broadcast for home soccer games. We haven't had one here recently. They're on a road swing now, but how has that been for you getting into the booth? Started at a few weeks ago, middle of August, and working with Kyle. How much do you enjoy that?
I enjoy it so much. It's something my family enjoys. You know, I'd been a soccer coach for, I think it was 15 years or so. And then I stepped away in 2019 to kind of lean into the administrative side of the house. And that's a big change. And, you know, I didn't know this, but when I made that change, a little bit of your family identity is built in to being a coach's family. And so certainly my family are enjoying every benefit that we have here and the opportunity to be in Ruston. But for them to hear me talk some soccer on a broadcast, for them to come into a game and see me up in a broadcast booth and really to share a lot of the experience that they lived through with me wherever we had been coaching was special. And so that's how we're viewing it, is just we get to reconnect at a deeper level with the game that has defined our family's life. You know, we've traveled to, I don't know, 3 or 4 different states, really following that passion in coaching. And so to be able to share that again with my kiddos as they get into the upper high school ages has been really special. Kyle's done a tremendous job, and he has been helping me more than I help him. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, well, your expertise and your history, which I want to get a little bit more deeper into, certainly I know is something he's extremely thankful for, and that helps. I think you both can feed off each other and have, at least to this point, in great ways. So if you haven't seen a soccer game yet, the next home game, which is going to be coming up here in the next week or so, once they return home, you can watch Kyle Roberts and Wally Crittenden on that ESPN Plus broadcast. You assisted at Oklahoma, Nebraska, Texas A&M, head coach at Stephen F. Austin after that. Won 3 Southland Conference Coach of the Year awards. You weren't bad as a goalkeeper either at FIU, where you earned your bachelor's.
No, it's been a big part of my life. Soccer's been a big part of my life for a long time. And, went to school down at FIU. Had a tremendous 4 years there. Great program, a lot of soccer history there. It was a really special time, and then I had the opportunity to play professionally, and got cut on the last day of preseasons, both seasons, but wouldn't trade that experience for anything. And then that kind of leapfrogged me into coaching, and to be able to spend time. And for my first college coaching job to be at University of Oklahoma and to work alongside that administration, to be in coaches meetings with the tremendous coaches at OU was pretty unique. And then following that act up by heading up north to Nebraska, where both my kids were born in Lincoln, and to really be there at a transformational time where Coach Osborne actually came back in the department and impacted what we were doing. Again, so special. And then my wife's an Aggie. I've been a part of the Aggie soccer culture for a long time in camps and just with friendships of that staff. And then to be able to spend 3 years on the staff at Texas A&M before heading over to Nacogdoches and Stephen F. And Stephen F. will always hold a special place in our family's history. I did a lot of great things there, saw a lot of growth and improvement. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the next game that's home is against Stephen F. Austin. So that'll be a very interesting one to call. Yeah. And so we're looking forward to that. So just special experiences.
That'll come full circle for sure. I think it was 7 years, Lady Jacks. You were guiding them, 3 Southland titles also. You mentioned pivoting and stepping away as what was, or I guess you started the new role when you gave up coaching, Senior Associate AD of External Affairs. Was that transition by design? How did that come about?
Sure. So it was by design in the sense that, really at the time that I stepped away from A&M and went to Stephen F., got to know the AD that hired me there, really saw what we were doing there and the success we were having in the Southland. Conversations started to lean towards administration, just because perhaps different characteristics and habits that may align with that. And then when Ryan Ivey got the AD job, it all worked out where there was an opening in the ticket office, and they needed someone with a little bit of a technical background that could really dive in and tighten up the ticket operations side of the house. Well, that kind of grew into the fundraising side of the house, which then grew into overseeing all external units and tying all of that together, which made a bunch of sense because, again, revenue generation, social engagement, creative engagement, having a revenue focus and folding revenue opportunities into those communication channels is so important. And so it really just kind of continued to grow over that time. And then Ryan got the position here, and I was able and fortunate to compete for the AD job at Stephen F. Austin, didn't get the job. And when that opportunity presented to kind of turn and look eastward, there was no hesitation, and we looked here, and what a special place it is.
I'm sure Ryan showed no hesitation in trying to get you here once that opportunity became available. It seems like you all built a certain level of commitment to each other, or at least a working relationship that was beneficial for both sides.
Sure thing, and I've learned so much from him, and he's got a way of doing things that have proven to be very successful. He's made a very high impact on institutions and athletic departments everywhere he's been, including here at Louisiana Tech. And when you take a step back and you look at what, as a team, we've been able to accomplish here just in the last year and a half, it's pretty profound. And you look at where we were a year and a half ago. It's one of those that when talking to young coaches and young administrators, it ain't about stacking years. It ain't about saying, hey, I'm going to be somewhere for 7 years, and then because I've been there 7 years, I should get an opportunity to do this. It's about what you do while you're there. And, you talk about transfer portal and some of the conversation that I've had with athletes, even before the portal was as defined as it is, because kids have always transferred. It's always been, I'm okay with a hungry athlete coming into a program who wants to make a difference and impact the team, and they're here for 2 years. It's about what they do while they're here for 2 years. And if they make us better and they help us compete, if they impact their community and we get wins because of it, then I support you in whatever you do. I hope you stay. But if you don't, I think what you find a lot of times is people end up stacking years and thinking that equals opportunity. And so that's one of the things that really drew me here, was how hungry everyone is in the athletic department. Got really talented people here in leadership roles who are hungry to be the best and compete against the best. And that's something that drives me. And so I think that's one of the reasons it was so attractive.
Do you miss coaching?
Well, what I miss the road trips. I miss the team dinners. I miss, being able to, see a young person come in on day one with a certain skill set, and then to see them improve, to dedicate themselves to a process, to make a greater impact on a team, and then be better than they were when they first got here. I do miss that. But the other side of that is I get to see that happen across 300 athletes now, and I get to play a role along with our team in helping provide resources that are necessary to have a chance to be successful. And so that's very fulfilling. And then from a personal standpoint, I kind of get to live in tomorrow, which is really at the core. I really am passionate about taking care of today while at the same time living in tomorrow. And there's only so much of that you can do when you're trying to manage the relationships that are required at a team level to have a chance to win championships.
When it comes to resources, there's one game day resource in particular, that's Patton's. Have you been to Patton's downtown?
I've not been to Patton's,
Okay.
but my family
All right.
has.
Okay. Well, Patton's is the spot when it comes to gear, memorabilia, unique, officially licensed Louisiana Tech apparel options to shop from. You can find it all when you shop locally at Patton's in Ruston, a North Louisiana tradition since 2007. There's Patton's Western wear, Patton's downtown. You can find them all at Patton's. No matter where you're heading to work, out of town, the big game, you deserve to look your best at Patton's. You mentioned the student athlete and the transfer portal. I'm curious about name, image, and likeness. Where is Tech, and how are you helping to enhance Tech's competitiveness in the marketplace? Because there was a very fascinating presentation that you delivered to all of us as a group within the athletic department just last month. And I'm curious what you can share about where we are and again, continuing to be competitive in this ever-changing and evolving space that is college athletics?
No, and it's a great challenge. It's a great opportunity, and I'm also a believer that where there's friction, there's opportunity. And there has been friction in college athletics over the last, several years, not just this last year when House settlement was passed. And those departments and those leaders who have embraced that friction as an opportunity to define who they are and prepare for what's next, you're starting to see separation. And I think we're on the cusp of separation as well. And I think if you looked around our region at other institutions and how they're trying to navigate House settlement, there's no question in my mind that we would be tip of the spear with regards to our NIL programming, how we're managing our scholarship allocation, and really navigating House. And part of that is a team approach to how do we solve this? What do we need to solve it? And really, what do we need to understand who we are and where we can compete? And that's questions that were asked at our leadership level all the way back to last August, a year ago. And so we began to roll out and develop our own solution, our own technology solution that we feel fits who we are and our needs to help us get the answers we need to allocate resources to be the most successful that we can be. Doesn't mean everyone's going to fit that profile, but there are a lot of schools that do look like Louisiana Tech from a resource management standpoint, and we're finding that out with a lot of our institutional peers that are looking for similar solutions. And so Victory GM is the platform that we built in-house, and part of Victory GM is an NIL marketplace that allows for brands that are curated. So it's not an open marketplace, but if we want to talk to a brand about connecting with our athletes, they can get on the platform, we add them, then they get access to all of our athletes and can quick pitch our athletes and actually engage with them. All of it's tracked from a compliance standpoint. All of it is really aggregated so that our athletes understand what they're making, what their tax obligations are to help them prepare for that, and then ultimately how we make sure that they remain compliant. And that also allows us to begin to choose which technology solutions we want to use, as opposed to which technology solutions are the only option we have in the marketplace and we have to use them. And so there are some great solutions out there, but at the end of the day, personally, I don't want Louisiana Tech to be in a position where we are dependent on any one vendor, any one solution, just because they're the only option. We need to choose to use them because they make us better.
Right.
And that's a mentality that other schools are beginning to come around to. It allows us to bring NIL efforts in-house. We can now deploy group licenses to all of our athletes in minutes. We can now arrange for one-to-one engagements, which is something that very few, if anybody else in the country, is doing. What you're seeing across the country is other schools starting their own NIL studios in-house, but they're using third-party platforms to solve it. And we're taking an approach where we certainly want vendors to be a part of what we're doing, but we also want to have the autonomy to do it our way when we want to do it our way.
That's incredible. How instrumental has Matt Thorne been since his arrival in working with your group? Really, it's a two-person team, right? Championship Resources. It's all of us pulling the rope in the same direction. But since he's come on last summer, what has he done to be able to enhance the mission?
He's been fantastic, and he's got a great career ahead of him. He's a great thinker. He's someone that is not intimidated by the problems and the solutions that we are proposing to those problems. There are people that when you talk about how we're going to solve certain problems at certain levels, just say, you know what, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with that. Yeah. You're seeing that all across the country. You're seeing ADs and senior leadership that have been in the industry for decades that are like, you know what, I'm good. I don't think I want to participate in this solution, right? Matthew, from the second he's been on campus, has been a leader in how we think and rethink non-traditional revenue. He stood up the Bulldog Business Network, which is going to be so important in connecting our Louisiana Tech alumni to our own NIL platform that we talked about in Victory GM to help leverage those opportunities that's going to generate new revenue for the foundation as well. So there's not a day that goes by that I'm not thankful I'm working alongside Matthew, and he's doing tremendous things.
Another couple of minutes with you, Wally. I appreciate you joining us on Tech Drive.
Sure.
You're Nebraska, and I'd love to talk more football. I mean, you kind of glossed over, your MLS participation and getting cut and playing for an under 20, U.S. Olympic team. You even had a hand in helping to coach Texas Olympic development men's team. I mean, all of these things, they belong to this man. I mean, they're on his resume. But one particular nugget when you were at Nebraska, the coaching bio indicated you support fellow coaches with a trademark exuberance and creativity. It's an incredible compliment. I hope people can say things half as nice about me, but would you agree? Would you agree that's how you operate in your daily life?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. If you and I are interacting and we're having a conversation, first and foremost, I'm a signal guy. The noise, I take a lot of pride in the fact that I can filter out noise, that distractions, that self-imposed distractions. I think we do a really good job of not creating noise that's unnecessary and focusing on the signal that we need to be the best that we can do, or best that we can be in whatever we're doing. So I would say that I would hope that is encompassed in that statement. The next thing is I want to make sure you're better for having just a conversation with me. Like, I want to make sure that you're better for having known me. And what that means is I got to identify who you are. I got to identify what's important to you today, but I also got to be able to kind of look in tomorrow and see what may be important to you tomorrow that we need to have you prepared for so you can take advantage of whatever opportunity comes your way along those lines. And so in order to do that, it's very important that you really can distill down the core character and opportunities to improve your skill set. And so the best way to do that is to be positive. The best way to do that is to understand that nothing is permanent and that we can rebound and we can respond to any situation. And if that comes across that way, certainly I appreciate that and I welcome that feedback. But at my core, that's who I am. You need to be better for us having known each other.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Nebraska Soccer Booster Club, they were very happy you helped to find that, I think originate that. But yeah, part of the bio from 15 years ago, along your stops on the pitch coaching. Wally Crittenden, what a treat, man. I appreciate you coming by, carving out some time on Tech Drive.
No, appreciate that. Thank you for having me. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Still to come this week on the podcast, we'll have a conversation with Jerry Bird ahead of Tech and LSU. That will be on Saturday night, a 6:30 kick. Our Tech tailgate will start at 5 o'clock. And for those that are getting to the pod on the back half of the week, you can join us Thursday at Rotolo's Craft and Crust for Inside Bulldog Football. That'll begin at 6 o'clock. Join us in person, be it Rotolo's offensive coordinator, Tony Franklin, will be there. If you miss it, you can catch it on the podcast feed as well, Tech Drive. For Wally, for GB, Jack, Carson, and Cav, I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Schasberger, and thanks for listening to Tech Drive.